Oh, here we go. We're
Here we go.
live. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Hi, Tina. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We
And
are here
happy
again.
October. Happy October.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah.
I got my notification so I can go. I want to go on the site so I can see if people are talking or not
Yeah.
on the Facebook
Yeah, I don't
page.
know if
Yes.
anyone's so from my view, nobody's here yet, but that's okay. That's okay.
That's okay. We're good. Oh, there
Yeah,
we go. I
yeah,
can see it now.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and I should put the banners. So we're going to talk about October and the
Yes.
energies related to this month, right? And so,
Right.
so Julie, well, here we go. People are coming on now.
Okay.
So, yeah, so Julie, she's into the tarot cards and she likes astrology and I want to say general psychic energy stuff. Like,
Yeah.
so whether
Yeah.
that's you pick it
Energy.
up, yeah,
Energy.
like you
Yeah.
pick that up, people can pick that up whether you're aware of it or not, like, through sometimes you get, a vision or you hear something, you might
Oh, there's
get,
so many ways
you
to
might
pick up
feel
on
it.
spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might feel it.
Yes.
Sometimes you get a certain taste. Like people think like, when people say, oh, I'm craving, a burger or I'm craving blah, blah, this. And sometimes it's, related to the energies, right? It could be connected
Right.
to
That's right.
something you're picking up on and smells. That's another thing too. It's like sometimes, we'll smell.
Oops.
Whoops.
Hold on. Hold
Okay.
on. I don't know what happened. Okay. There we go.
Okay. So yeah, so sometimes too we'll smell something. It's like, well, that's not part of, that's not what I wear. Like if it's a perfume or that's not part of the room because there's no
That's right.
sense in the room, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then I like numerology is my main thing. So I like to look at the numbers according
Yeah.
to the dates to see what they say.
Yes.
And yeah, so I guess we should maybe get started. Do you
Yes.
want to
But can
go
I just
first?
say, well, I
Yeah.
just want to say for October, especially right now, I don't know when this is going to end, but Mercury retrograde has messed
Oh,
with every freaking thing I have tried to do. Like I was going to be so determined to read the comments on Facebook, and my computer, as you heard, just totally went crazy on me.
yeah.
So it's Mercury retrograde every single time, but this time seems to be especially bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm having the same issues too. And like, so what I look from my understanding with Mercury retrograde is so there's a date that it actually, happens. So I believe it's like October 13th, but astrologers say the energy starts sooner. So it's like we ease into it. So it's like a few weeks before we start
Yeah.
feeling the effects of what the planet is doing.
Well,
And
that makes sense.
yeah, so and it's like we are like it's
It's
we're at the
crazy.
beginning of the month, and I know I've had wacko stuff with electronics happening too. So,
Right? It's the craziest thing. Nothing wants to work. Everything shuts down. Even my car acts up like during this retrograde. It's just like the worst. But I think it just the October energies in general, maybe it's the 5 number you were talking about in your forecast,
right, right.
with
So yeah,
challenges and obstacles and all of
right,
that fun stuff. Yes.
right. So with the numbers, it's a number 5 month, and the the big thing with the number 5 energy is freedom, and so freedom, like whether it's freeing our something from our lives or if it's to free us from a belief or thought or feeling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's about freedom. And how that generally happens is with the 5 energy, it's like it likes to get things moving. So that means things change on us. So we,
Right.
so we can like change, change our outlook, change our mind, change our way of thinking, our way of doing things, and then the universe will respond and create changes in our lives. And
Right.
we don't always like those. We
No.
won't always welcome them. And because change is not always easy, right?
Right.
And we're as humans, like we're creatures of habits.
Yeah.
And we like to
Absolutely.
feel like,
Routine based.
yeah, and we like to be in control, right?
Yeah.
Like we like,
We
and the
like to
five
think we're
energy,
in control.
yeah, and the five energy is like, nah, you know what? No, that's not how it works.
Right. Yeah. I've
No,
got other plans for you.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to open your world up. We're trying to open up, let's say maybe your mind, or open up your
Yeah.
heart. And for
Yeah.
them to do that, it's like, through change. So sometimes things will, I get snapping. I like to, so it's like some things in our lives will change just like that,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Um, yeah, and some changes will take longer. It depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and
But
it's,
it teaches us patience at the very least. It teaches us
yeah,
patience, you know?
yeah. Yeah, and I want to say too, like the other thing too, one of my favorite, like I love the number 5 energy. I really do.
Me
And
too. It's not one of my
yeah,
favorites, I gotta say. I
no,
gotta say,
I
it's
do. Like, I mean,
conflict.
I don't always have an easy time with it because, when I look at my own numbers, it's like I don't have any numbers that, align with the number 5 energy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's
But,
true.
I still like it. And I believe, oh no, you do have a number
I
that
do.
aligns with the
May.
number 5. May.
Yeah.
May is the 5th
Yeah.
month.
Yeah. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why I'm not a fan.
Could be maybe because you have like, so many experiences with changes that it's like, oh, do I want to,
Yeah,
do you want to
I do.
change or,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Right.
yeah. So what I want people to understand is like 5, because of all the changes and everything, it's a year, well, I want to say 2, because we're going into a year where it's a number 5. So this month is like a preview for the year 2021.
Okay.
So, and it's like a stepping stone, or, we're stepping into, like, we're getting ready for the year 2021 this month. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
don't fret, like, if things like, oh, I don't like this, or that's not what I want. That's okay. Because the 5 is about changes. It's about,
Right. Change.
things,
Yeah.
it's about the difference. So it's like, it's not going to stay the same. That's good.
Right.
And the
Right.
5, the 5 energy, it likes it when mistakes happen, believe it or not. So that's one of my favorite things about the 5 energy. So it's like and I know not every mistake's a good one, right? Or
Right.
an easy one, but it's like
Yeah.
it comes down to where, yeah, it's a year of like where you feel like, oh, I'm making more mistakes than usual, or
Yeah.
that was a mistake,
Insecure. Yeah.
and it's like, no, that's good, because that's a huge way of understanding the 5 energy and getting through the year, because it's like these mistakes are helping us make the changes that we need to create the life that we want, or to create, you know um, how we want to feel or how we want to think, going
Right.
forward, because it's
Yeah.
like pushing us forward, right? So that's what the mistakes,
Absolutely.
that's why I feel like,
Yeah.
oh, mistakes can be good. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Who
It's
is
a
saying this? Becky. Becky says preview for 2021 and move on unless you make the mistakes. Yeah. Yeah, because it is about the lessons too. And that's the hard thing, right? Because you're learning some valuable lessons in these challenges and obstacles. And part of that push me, pull me too, where we're also raring to go and get into the new. And then you have these physical, tangible stops to you too. Like the universe really is just saying, stop it right now. Like, think about this, think about the lesson here, don't move on without really absorbing this lesson.
yeah,
And integrating it and grounding it too, because it's one thing to be saying, okay, well, I've learned that lesson, but are you practicing it in your daily life now of what you've truly learned? Is it boundaries? Is it trust? Is it joy? Like what have you truly learned out of that, and integrate
right.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And that's, and I find too, like, this is where, it's going to vary from person to person depending on the personal cycle you're in.
Absolutely. Yes.
So the 5
Yeah.
year, like, it's going to affect everyone differently depending, what area of life is in focus for you, according to numerology.
Yeah. The cycle's really important
Right,
for sure. Yeah.
right. Right. So you're in a number 1 year, right? Like I'll use you as a guinea pig.
I
Is that
am.
okay?
Yes, yes. And I keep reading. I'm reading the comments from Becky too,
Yeah,
because
that's
she's
fine.
ready
Yeah.
too. She's
Yeah.
ready for this. I could see it in her. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
And I
so
say
the
bring
number,
it on too. I do. I
yeah.
say bring it on because I'm in 1 year. I had the 9 year, as you know,
Hmm.
and I really did learn some hard lessons in my 9 year. I really did. It was probably one of the hardest years that I've experienced, just with everything going on. So I had to really be the hermit and go inside and see what do I need to learn from this, because I had been on a cycle of just repeating the same cycle over and over and over again. It was like
Mm.
I thought I had learned the lessons. I thought I had opened myself up, but um, I hadn't. I hadn't learned what was truly important in my life, in my path. What do I want to do here? You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, and like, you don't know what's really good. So what I like about what you just shared, Julie, is like, because you don't know all the meanings of the numbers or how that relates to the cycle, but just what you're saying, it's like you're naturally in tune. And I find a lot of people are. So it's like, so you being in number 1 year is about new beginnings, the
Yes.
new. And
Yes.
it's also about the self. So, and with and then working with, let's say, the 5 energy that we're into, right?
Yeah.
For this
Yes.
month and then going into the year, it's like, so there's going to be profound changes for you personally.
Right.
Right.
That's
So it's,
right. Oh
it's like,
yeah.
it's like you are going to maybe create changes in your world that's going to have where it's going to matter more about, to you, like how it affects you more
That's right.
than, let's say, maybe your daughter, or more than your
That's right.
husband, right?
Husband,
Because it's like,
right.
because
Oh
it's the
yeah.
number 1 is like the self, and it's about the new things. And it's like, oh, you're maybe wanting to change, where, you want to change, yeah, what's new in your life, right? And it's like you might want to
Right.
change
Yeah.
your ideas or your plans, because it's like, oh, this is
Right.
new. I'd rather try this instead. I changed my mind, or I
Yes,
want to
you're
break
allowed.
free.
Yes. That's a good point too. You are allowed to change your mind too as you learn these lessons.
Hmm.
Like that's the main thing. It's hard to adjust to this new. I swear to God, I think everybody went through a little bit of an identity crisis during COVID and quarantine, because when you're not at work and you're not at the bars and you're not at the gym, who are you without everybody in the world telling you who you are? And
Right.
so there was this big awakening of pretty much an identity crisis, of who am I? What do I believe? There was so much information coming at us, in
Right.
2020.
Yeah.
And so we had to be very, very picky about what we listened to and what we believed and what made you feel good. You had to really count on your body to tell you, does this feel right? Does this sit right with me? When I think
Yeah.
about this, how do I feel about this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt like, so this past cycle, like, especially what COVID taught us, is like, where are we limited? Where are
right.
we restricted?
Yeah,
And what's working in our life, or what's working for us, and what's not working, because it's about working,
right.
right? And now,
Yes,
and it's like, but not really being able to do anything about it, because the 4 energy of 2020, and
yes,
COVID, confirmed this, was like, we were restricted, right? In a
yeah,
lot of ways.
absolutely. That's
So
right.
now, whether or not COVID is around, how bad it is, the 5 energy, I guarantee it's going to create a lot of shaking. Like, things are going
Yes,
to be shook up in our world, whether it's
yeah,
personally or as a collective.
yeah,
And I think there's going to be groups of people who are not going to take things sitting down anymore. Like,
that's
there's
right.
like, because, yeah, 5 is like creative and expression, like
Yes,
expressing. And
yeah,
so and it can come across as being rebellious and, revolutionary. So it's like,
yes,
okay, what's going to be taken to the streets?
right.
What are people going to be fighting for or against, right? So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's going to be wild. Like, I just feel like it's going to be a
right,
wild time that we're
right.
going to enter. So where it's been quiet, it's going to be a huge difference from
Yeah,
2021, 20 and
yeah.
20. And it's like, we're going to get
For
that preview this month.
Absolutely. For example,
Yeah.
here again, I love these comments. I'm glad I got this back
Okay.
up because
Yeah.
Trudy just said, did I make the right decision in leaving my job and working from home? My birthday was September 23rd. So happy birthday for one.
Yeah.
And but look at that rebellion. You absolutely did the right thing because now is the time to be rebellious. Don't worry so much about what people are thinking of what you should do because you're
That's
Julie.
right.
Julie always does this though. You know, there's expectations of you by now from the people around you and who support you and love you, you know. But
Yeah.
you got to break those expectations because you got to break out. You know, that's kind of what
Yeah.
October feels like to me, is a breakout, wild horses kind of month. But I didn't
Yeah,
mean to
that's right.
interrupt you, but go
No,
ahead.
no, no, not at all. And it's like, we're testing the waters
Exactly.
this month. That's why I feel
Yes.
like it's a preview, because it's like,
Yes.
okay, it's like, okay, this is what I've always wanted, or you think you've always wanted this, and it's like you might
Yeah.
test the water,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, but you change your mind,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And
I
and
don't
doesn't
like the
mean it.
temperature. Yeah.
That's right. Or you don't, yeah, or it's not for you anymore, or it could be like not now, right? Whatever the reason
Yes.
is, and
Yeah.
it's okay. Like don't fret about, is this right or is this wrong? Because it's like, again, it's about we're breaking free and breaking away, and changes are coming, and
Right.
we're expressing, and it's freedom, and it's like, so that means like, you know
Yeah.
testing things out, and it's like what's working, what's not, and that's why it feels like, am I, a mistake or not. And it's like, no, it's all good, just,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
That's right. That's right. And every decision is crucial. It's not crucial, but it matters. Everything you're looking at matters in your perspective. So don't dismiss anything either. Don't think, oh, like tarot cards, who knew that one day I would be on a show on Facebook talking about tarot cards? Like that's crazy to me. That's crazy to
mm,
me. For everyone that knows me, they're like, oh, she's lost her ever loving mind. I knew she was
right,
gonna.
right,
but 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 you sooner or later you got to be yourself, and you've got to go with what makes you feel good for your
yeah,
future. Yeah.
yeah. And you know what, like, when it comes to me, like interpreting the numbers, there's so many traits and themes for each number, right? So it's
Yes.
like,
Right.
so when I share, it's like, okay, what comes through strongly? And then sometimes I'll be listening, like, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening to what you're sharing. It's like, oh, that's a 5 thing, or, that's a
Yeah.
5.
Right. I do that with the
So,
cards. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like when you say crazy, and it's like, that's a 5 energy as well. So,
Oh,
because
see.
5, because it's like 5 dares to be different. And that's
Yeah.
connected to, the rebellion, the change, breaking
Yeah.
away or breaking free. So it's like, it comes across as like, oh, that person is doing something crazy because it's unconventional.
Exactly. It's not.
Like
It's out of their
the
character.
5
Right.
doesn't like to follow the rules. 5 does not follow trends.
Yeah.
It doesn't follow the norm. Like, it's like, oh, everyone's doing that. The 5 is like, I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
This is my way, or this
I'm
is
going in
this
my
is
padded
different.
room.
Like, yeah, like they go in a different direction from the crowd.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, that's what's going to be influencing us this month and for the year 2020. So it's,
Yeah.
you're not following the crowd. So some people are going to say to you, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Or what are you
Yep.
saying? What are you thinking? Or you're weird. Like, weird's another thing.
Oh yeah.
And I meant to look up, um, there's that saying, you've probably seen it. It's like, I like weird. There's a saying about, I celebrate the weird, or I like the weird.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
like
Do you know
it.
how that goes?
I don't know how
Do
it
you know
goes,
that
no,
saying?
but no,
I can't remember
no.
the saying, but anyways, people will post that on Facebook from time to time. I like the
Yeah.
weird,
Yeah.
I embrace the weird, or I like it when people, something about that to effect. I'm like,
Yeah.
now we're going to really see
Now we'll see.
how many people are going to like the weird and the wacky, the crazy
Right.
this coming year. Like, yeah, because it's like, I
Right.
don't think so.
No,
I don't
no,
think people always like the weird or the
no, but
crazy or,
I swear we've seen the weird. I mean, this has been Twilight Zone weird, in a lot of ways. Just this whole year has been really something out of the Twilight Zone. So it's been
mm,
weird.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because I'm in the US and we're
Okay.
on another planet altogether here in the USA right now, you know.
Right, right,
So
right.
it's so weird for any American right now. I can tell you that. It is the twilight zone for Americans because there's these truths that are absolute truths for each individual or a group of people, and there's this defensiveness, you know, to defend your truth, you know,
Yeah,
and that's just making it feel like the twilight zone because nobody's listening to anyone, by the way, because
yeah.
they're all so loud screaming their own truth that there's no listening going on. And whenever you can talk less and listen more, it's a better world. So
Right, right, right.
yeah.
Yeah. But that can also too relate to the numbers of the USA.
Did you do the numbers of the USA?
No, because that's for another show.
Yeah, we are going to do that.
So Julie,
I
so
thought you cheated.
yeah, no, no, because I don't want to get ahead of myself, right?
No, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I guess maybe we can give everyone a little
sure.
heads up. So Julie and I, like on future show, probably in a couple of weeks, towards the end of October, going into
Yeah,
November, we plan to do a show on the USA and politics, especially since the election is coming up for the
yes.
presidency. And yeah, so I'm going
Yeah,
to look at the numbers and talk about
right?
the energies of the numbers related to USA and the candidates, and you're going to look into the energies too, according to the tarot. And yeah,
Yes.
well, it'll be an interesting talk because we've had a few
Yeah.
conversations about this already, and we don't agree
Oh,
on
yeah.
everything.
No,
So
we don't. But we still love each other
yeah, that's right. We
because we
agree to disagree.
listen.
We're good about it. Like we don't.
We are.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, of course, I
yeah.
see your point of view. I see everyone's point of view when you want to tell
Hmm.
me your point of view. Of course, everyone is going by their own
Hmm.
experiences when they're
Right,
judging anything, you know?
right,
So you can't ever judge anyone's perception of what's happening because they're looking at that based on what's happened, you know?
right, right,
So there's no other way to really do it except for realize that you're in a cycle here. You are in a cycle of what you believe. You know, everything. You just don't go all in on one belief because that belief's going to change and morph and grow. You know, when you know better, you do better.
right, right.
Plain
Yeah,
and simple. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And okay. So I guess too, because the number 5 energy is about, one of the things is about expressions and
right.
especially communicating
Yeah.
and the words. So one of the themes that came through is like the stories that we tell.
Yes, I
And,
love that.
and yeah. So
What's your
people are going to
story?
be paying attention. Yeah. So people are going to be paying attention more now to like, okay, so and so said this. Is that, and they either you're going to believe it or not. Like, so you might, be paying attention more to what resonates or what feels good or real to you. And it's like this is a good time to really think about what stories do you tell others and yourself, right?
Right. That's exactly right. What do you tell
And
yourself and what do you tell others? Yeah.
and it's like, what kind of story do you want to create
Yeah.
this coming
Right.
year, right? Like and this is where people are thinking like, what, I'm tired of the same,
Yeah.
or life has been boring, because it's like, we're coming out of an energy where it's like it's been the same thing, or it's boring, or this isn't
Yeah.
what I want anymore. I want to create change. So it's like that's related to your story then. So what story do you want to create?
Yes.
How do you want
Yeah.
to tell the life you live from this day forward, right?
Right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What is your
Yeah,
story? What
right.
do you want the world to know about you, you know? And there's a little bit of we've got the 2 full moon energies in October too. So there's a little bit of protectiveness about your story this month too. So
Right. Yeah.
that's a kind of a hard question this month because people are really formulating their story for 2021 as well. So
Yeah. No,
work on it. Yeah.
yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. And it's something like, you can do just for yourself, within, just for your own ears or your own heart or your own mind, right?
Right. Yes.
Because this is just the stepping stone. It doesn't, yeah, and you can change the
Well, it's
narrative
your
and
story. It's not something you're
mm-hmm,
going to put up on Facebook. You know, it's not something
right,
you're going to share on Twitter. It's your story to create.
right,
So you
right,
don't want all
right,
those other influences. You don't want somebody telling you how to feel or how to believe, no matter where that is coming from, even from a fabulous source. You know, you just
right.
don't. You can rely on yourself right now, because that's
That's
part of the
right.
change. Yeah, is self-reliance. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and that's and that's where people will might come across as being rebellious or defiant
that's
because
right.
it's like you're telling me this. I don't think so. This is my
Right.
story, or this is
That's
what
right.
I'm going to do, or what I
Yeah.
want. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I've learned. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I guess too, one of the other things I want to say about the number 5 energy is rock and roll comes through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that can be about not just literally like where it's about the genre of rock and roll music.
Yeah.
And I kind of have a feeling, I'm wondering too if some rock music is going to make a comeback.
Probably.
Because it
It's a
seems
time.
like, yes, because it seems like what's popular is like a lot of pop or, dancey,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, I don't know, it seems like perfect music. I call it perfect music.
Yeah.
Like bubblegum, I don't know if bubblegum, but yeah, it's perfect music. Like
Yeah.
everyone looks perfect, they sound perfect, perfect
Yeah.
beats or whatever, and the perfect words in the song. And it's like, rock and roll is not like that at all. Rock and roll is
No. No. Right.
it's
Right.
yeah, it's yeah. So I'm wondering, and even the expression of rock and roll
Right.
will
And
be
talk about
significant.
rebellion. Talk
Mm.
about rebellion when rock
Mm-hmm.
and roll first came out, like Elvis, and talk about some rebellion going on there. So it is that time maybe of just rebellion, like you were saying. I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And and then the spirit animal that came through for the month are horses,
Wild
and in particular,
horse.
and especially the wild horse, because it's like I could
Yes.
see them running, like across the
Yes.
fields. I see them running across the beach. I see, it's like I don't see them contained,
Right.
like how some people keep their horses, right? Like in a
Yeah.
field. But yeah, so yeah, and horses are about freedom. They're about
That's right.
movement because they move, they're always moving forward. What else?
Powerful.
What do you
Yeah.
feel? Yeah, what do you
Well,
feel about horses?
you can't help but think of movement when you think of horses, and
Mhm.
they're just very powerful. They're very mindful of complete, control over where they're going and where they're stepping, and they can go from a from a jog to a run and so quickly,
Mhm.
and they're ready to go, but they're prepared. They're not just as much as it looks like they're going into that full out all out run. They're not. They've prepared themselves to. It reminds me of
Mhm.
the chariot, in the
Oh
tarot, the
yes.
horses of just forward movement, and it's usually a positive indication. The chariot is always positive movement forward. So
Yeah. Yeah, and even a
yeah,
lot of the sayings related to horses will be
yeah,
significant and are good reminders. Like,
yeah,
like that saying, "Oh, if you fall off the horse, get back on." So it's like
yeah,
falling off the horse, for me would be like, "Oh, you made a mistake.
yeah,
You made a
yeah,
boo-boo. You did
yeah.
something wrong."
Right.
It's like it's
You got
okay.
to get
You
back
just
up.
you got to get back on the horse and try again, right? Keep
That's
going,
right.
or mhm.
Absolutely. And the horse is a master at intuition. Like, they use body language only to judge what you're saying. If you're telling a horse you're confident, that horse knows whether you're telling a lie or not. They're relying completely
Mm,
on their intuition with those big eyes. Like, yeah, I don't think so.
mhm.
So it is a time to really rely on your intuition, like the horse, and know what you're saying too.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and
Intuition.
I didn't get a tarot card when I wrote the forecast out. So for
Yeah.
those that are listening, whether it's live or if you're going to listen to the recording later,
Yes.
I write the monthly forecast, so it's posted on my Facebook page, Enlighten Energy, if you want to read that, or you can reach out to me and I can send it to you. but I didn't get a tarot card. So, but you did. And so I'd
I
like you
did.
to talk about that. Yeah.
All
Because I think
right.
it's
Well,
interesting what you had to share.
yeah, I
Yeah.
loved it too.
Yeah.
So I got the Ace of Cups. So this is the Ace of Cups in my Light Seers Tarot deck. You can see she's really pulling. This is a heart space. You see the butterfly in the center of the chalice there? I mean, it's
Yeah.
a really transformational. Uh, it can be overwhelming with emotion as well. You know, your cup kind of floweth over in the with the Ace of Cups. And I just want Trudy to know too. Is it Trudy or Truly? I got to wear my glasses on there,
Trudy.
but
Oh,
she's
Trudy.
really asking about this job thing. And I pulled this exact card for her while you were talking about some of the energies. I decided to pull a
Oh,
card for you, and this card came out for you, and I laughed so hard because I know you're uncertain right now. I know you are financially. My husband and I have had to make some real serious choices that have turned out wonderful, you know, with finances. But it did rely on quitting the system. It relied on checking out of the workforce for my husband anyway, for Michael, and following your intuition full steam ahead. Like he didn't let anything stop him, and it was scary. It was, but there's no better outcome when you're taking a risk like this. Like the risk to reward ratio is huge here for you, Trudy, because you're taking a huge risk. You're relying on yourself and yourself only, and you are not relying on anyone else to tell you what your worth is. And there's no greater job in the world. So you are absolutely doing the right thing. I don't need to pull the Ace of Cups to tell you that. You are doing the absolute right thing, especially for these times, because it's very hard in the workplace. There's jobs just disappearing left and right, you know. So, but the Ace of Water in the good tarot, this is a great one too, because this is the seahorse, which made me laugh because you brought up the horse, right?
wow.
Right.
Wow.
And here's the Ace
That's
of Cups in the
amazing.
good tarot, right? I could not believe that. And look
No
at this
kidding.
seahorse sitting on this spiritual truth here. You know, he's
Wow.
just like a pearl. He's got this truth and he's working it and refining it and focusing on it. And that's what we're doing right now as the seahorse. So yeah, right?
Wow.
So I thought that was great.
Wow.
But
Wow, that
yeah.
is. Yeah.
So the Ace of Cups is all about so in the traditional tarot too, if you look at that, there's a chalice, which is, you know,
Right.
overflowing with 5 streams here. Those 5 streams represent the 5 senses.
Wow. See, there's the 5.
There's the 5. So another very
Yeah.
oddity, since we've got an ace here, you know.
Yeah.
And then you've got this hand, the hand of God, really, is how I see this. And the dove is bringing us spiritual guidance from above. You know, he's got the wafer of truth there. So we're receiving all kinds of truths from spirit, and we're integrating those into our 5 senses, and that can get really, really overwhelming too. So if you're
Mm.
emotional and you're really feeling overwhelmed, and that'll ease up. That is the lesson of the Ace of Cups, that it's all coming from the heart. This is the real opportunity to learn this heart space and what makes you feel better, what soothes you, what lights your heart up, what can I look at that makes me feel better, instead of
Mm-hmm.
maybe watching TV, or what can I look at. So that's what I had to say about the Ace of Cups. At least my initial impression of it for your forecast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
lots of fives, isn't it? And the
Mm-hmm.
5 is
Yes.
is change, and
It's change. Yeah.
fighting for what you believe in as well. You know, there's fighting for what you believe in, reaching for your truth in the 5 energy in the tarot.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. And and that's one of the ways too the 5 likes to express itself. It's like, fighting back, or so it's
Yeah.
like you might fight with your words. So you might um, say things that are shocking or surprising, not only just to yourself, but to those around you. Because it's like, I would never be so blunt, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
fight back with my words. You might fight physically. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Because it's like the 5 energy, it's like it doesn't take things. It
Right.
doesn't like to take any guff or orders. It doesn't like being told what
Yes.
to do. And so that's
Yeah.
where, the fighting comes in, because it's like, okay, no. Yeah. So you could be the most peaceful or calm person. It's like, what? I'm
Yeah.
fighting on this issue, or I'm fighting about this. It's like, that's part of the energy, right?
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And just what are you fighting for?
Mm.
That's the main point, I think. What's the end game here? What are you fighting for?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Your sister came on
Oh, hi, Vicky. Oh, there she is.
and she
What did
wants
she
to
say?
know, is there a predicted energy forecast for November?
Ooh,
Well,
yes.
there will be, but not right now because we're talking about October.
Well, November, she's asking about, I can tell you what she's asking about, the
Okay.
election, because Vicky and
Oh,
I talk about Donald Trump every single day of our lives, and
I see.
we are
Okay.
so
Okay.
focused. So that's what she's asking about, is the election. But Vicky, we're going to do an election special. Like, I think it's the Monday before it is, right, Tina? The
Yeah.
Monday before the election, Tina's going to do numbers on the president, or the Biden and Trump. And I'm going to do a tarot reading on each one too, and see where their energy is lying for, well, yeah,
For the
what we
election. Yeah.
see. Yeah, for the
What
election,
we,
because I really don't think we're going to have a winner till January anyway. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to focus my reading on January.
okay. Well, and I'll share this tidbit because this I am certain of what I pick up on.
Okay.
Whoever wins,
Yes.
I feel strongly they're not going to finish out the presidency. So, because they're in office for 4 years, right?
Right.
So whoever
Well,
wins, whether it's Biden or Trump, I have a hard time seeing them
that 4
finishing
years go
like
out.
the 4 years. Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that
So
too. Totally. Yeah, I can
so
totally
like
see
that'll.
that.
But it's like, how is that going to happen? Exactly. I'm not sure, but it just feel I keep getting like something's going to be interrupted or
Yeah.
interrupted.
Well,
Like
Vicky knows
it's yeah,
what
it's
I
not
think is
smooth
going to happen.
sailing.
Yeah.
For sure, this election, it's like it's not smooth sailing. It's going to be a bumpy one.
Oh
And
God,
you
it's
get that too,
so.
right? And it's probably
Oh,
apparent already right now,
already.
right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
apparent. I mean, there's so many riggings going on and fraud, and people can't even get to they're closing down stations, so you can't go vote, and the mail system, and it's just ridiculous. That's why I know this is going to be in court for months. I already know
mm,
this.
mm.
But whoever declares themselves the winner in November will be incorrect, because the votes will take a very long time to tally. So,
Yeah, yeah. And
but
then the other thing,
we'll
yeah, go
see
ahead.
we'll see an interruption though, because of the system itself. The system itself is broken.
Mm,
Obviously we are not voting for who your vote is not counting like it should, and that's all. And
right,
so we need to go out in droves to show that our vote should count, and
right.
that's the important thing. That's the important thing. Go out and vote. Prove that your vote should count, or your vote will go away, because you can see how we're at this fine line right now where we could really lose our vote.
Yeah, yeah,
It's scary.
yeah,
It's really scary here. It's tense. It's unknown. It's new. No Americans ever experienced this kind of life here.
yeah. Revolutionary.
Revolutionary. It is.
Yeah, and very.
Unfortunately.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's funny because it's like I want to go to the beginning when I tune into um
Yeah.
like the USA. It's like I want to go to and for me to the beginning. It's like I want to go back in time to when the United States was created. So whether
Yeah.
that's around the Constitution time or when the Revolution War
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
I don't
I
know,
could
but
see
it's
that.
like that's where. So it's almost like, okay, maybe that's the full circle for the USA coming up, but with all this
Yeah.
unsettling and energies that you're working with, it's like, okay, is it
Makes
back to the
sense.
beginning? Like what do we have to change? And
That's what we'll
maybe
see. That is absolutely what we're seeing
in
here.
our
And that's what we
constitution.
were talking
Yeah.
about, learning from our mistakes. It's
Yeah.
like mistakes were made.
Yeah. So
It's
maybe, or
okay.
yeah, and that could be something, maybe that's what your government's going to be doing or focusing on in the upcoming
Absolutely.
year,
That's
is
what
going
I'm
to be
hopeful for,
the
regardless.
Constitution. Yeah.
Right.
And what America
Absolutely.
means. Yeah. Yeah.
How our vote really should absolutely count,
Yeah.
and be seen and heard, because regardless, people are just tired of defending their stories at this point. So when you say, what's your story, to an American, it's like, God dang it, I've been telling my story for 4 years now, whether you support Donald Trump or you're against Donald Trump.
Right.
You've had these conversations. So
Yeah.
you're either tired of defending him or tired of hating him at this point. And that's my hope.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
hope, that
Yeah.
I just want the conversation to go away. There's so many more important things going on, like COVID and hunger and climate change and
Mm.
important stuff that has nothing to do with Donald Trump. So
Yeah.
I know when Biden takes office, I'll just say it, that the conversation will go away. And that's what
Right.
I'm
That's your story, and you're sticking
that's
to
my
it.
story. And I'm
And you're
sticking to it.
sticking to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm not going to reveal my story about the presidency until that show.
Right? Okay, good, good.
Well, I don't know if
But
it's
you're
my
entitled.
story or the
See, you're
story I
entitled.
pick up on. I'm going to say the story that I pick up on. I'm going to wait till that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be a great show.
Yeah. So,
Oh, Trudy's saying thank you. You're welcome.
yeah.
I
So,
wanted to make sure, because I saw we had somebody jump in with a question right at the very end of the show, and I felt so bad. I went on
oh,
later and answered, for a question,
right.
but I just was determined
Right.
not to miss anything this time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess so you addressed Trudy with the card, right? And some other things that you picked up on.
Yeah.
So I just want to say with Trudy, because she's born on the 23rd, so that's a 5. So
9/23.
so she's
Yeah.
going to feel the energy of the 5 strongly, right? So it's going to touch on her personally
Absolutely.
in different
Yeah.
ways. So I would just say, and she says, she's unsure if she's making the right choice. And it's like,
Right.
really embrace your decisions, and it's almost, I want to say to Trudy, you know what, Trudy? So what? So what if it ends up being a
Yes.
mistake? Is it the end of
Love
the
that.
world? Like,
Let's say you fail. Yeah. Right.
yeah, like you just keep moving, or you
Right.
stand in the power. It's like, well, I tried it. It
Yeah.
worked great. If it didn't work, great.
That's
Like,
right.
yeah. And I know
I
it's not
learned
always
from it.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not always easy. Yeah. And so, but anyways, that's what I would want to tell her. And
Yes.
um,
And I'm
that's
excited
what,
for her.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like she's got to embrace um, change, and she's got to embrace uncertainty, because that's, part of her
God, that's hard
numbers.
to
And that's
do.
not
I
easy.
can tell
Yeah.
you. Oh my God, that's hard to do, because the fear of what could happen is so overwhelming. It'll keep you up at night. I mean, absolutely it will. So, but
Well,
just
yeah.
keep going, keep working it out, keep managing too, because the entire time we got so good at money management. Like Michael and I got so good at money management because he, as you know, is in the stock market. So, which
Yeah.
was never even part of his reality his entire life. I've known this man since he was 20 years old, and he's mastered it but he had to master all kinds of things. First, you have to master your emotions, and you have to master psychology, because so much psychology in the stock market, as you know, but that just applied so well to life itself, because when you can master the psychology of things, you have such a better shot of making it. So really micromanage your life at this point, Trudy. Like, write down all your expenses, what you're spending, what you need, what you have to have, what you can cut. We did all of that, and we really made it work. We made it work. We were
Yeah.
not going to fail. And when you get that kind of attitude going, there's no failing.
Yeah. 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 And I'm just, I wasn't planning on, doing like a pop-up reading like
Reading,
this,
yeah.
but from what I gather, she's in a number 9-year cycle.
Oh. That's
So,
exciting.
yeah.
I've always
So
been an overachiever too. Yes.
so it's not an easy
Yeah.
cycle, Trudy, the number
Right.
9 year, because it's about endings and completion. It's a year where there's you're healing and letting go, and like
Right.
a lot of you have to forgive. So it's
Yeah.
almost like, because you have these concerns and these 9-2 brings out our fears in full force. Like
Oh
we can't,
yeah.
it's almost like you can't run away from your fears in a 9
No.
year.
No. Your worst
So
nightmares come true.
so it's like, okay, what can you change in your life or in your thinking, in your belief system,
Yeah.
to get over that fear of, am I doing the right thing? Or the
Yeah.
fear of uncertainty with your finances, with your, making the move with your job.
Yeah.
Um, because that will help. That will, believe it or not. But only you can answer that, Trudy. It's like, what will bring you,
Yeah.
healing to that, so you can let it go. And
Yeah.
it's not going to happen the first time. Like, you might have, it's going to take some practice, right? That's the thing. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize. It's like, I want to get over this. And, it doesn't always happen overnight or in one try. Like, it takes practice,
It
and
does. It does. To not rely on anybody takes practice, because you're tuned, especially as an overachiever too. You're constantly giving help to others. You're always trying to help others on their path and their journey. You're always wanting success for them. You're always wanting, because you want it for yourself. So you
yeah,
figure, if you're on that road with them, you'll, if you're giving that will come to you. That's just kind of why an overachiever keeps going, because they just want to help. You just want to teach what you've learned, and continue to learn is what you're doing.
yeah,
You're on a quest to learn. You're the proverbial questioner, when you're an
yeah,
overachiever like that. Nothing is out of reach, nothing.
yeah.
And but it's hard to stand on your own, completely on your own. And that's kind of the lesson of the 9 year. Regardless of who's in your life with you, you're going to learn how to stand on your own, and how to be self-reliant. Go ahead.
Right. And
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, because she's born in the 9th month, that's connected
Mm-hmm.
to being an overachiever. Because the
Right.
9 energy, I akin it to the hermit in the tarot card. And, like the hermit's on top of the mountain or the cliff with the light, right?
Yes.
So I
Right.
tell people with 9 in their date of birth, or if they're in a 9 year, you're not supposed to go down that mountain and
Right.
climb it back up with those around you. You're already there. You're already at the top. So this is,
That's interesting. Yeah.
you're shining the light for others. So, that's where the overachieving comes in. It's because you feel like,
Yes.
I have to climb back down
Right.
and,
Yeah, you're
start
right.
from the beginning or do it all over again. And that's not always
Right.
the case, right?
That's
Sometimes it's
right.
just a matter of like pointing somebody in the right direction or giving
That's
them a
right.
tidbit to set them on their way. So it's like, for some
Absolutely.
of her tasks or, activities, it might be a matter where, she has to, like, okay, this is what you need to do, or this is how to handle it, and send them on their way. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
you have to let it go.
Right.
You can't.
Teach them how to fish rather than
That's
feed
right. Then
them,
doing it all. Yeah. So hopefully that
Yeah.
all helps. Hopefully that helps,
Yeah, I
Trudy.
hope so.
Yeah.
Good luck though. You've got
Yeah.
this. You
Yeah.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you wanted to share
Um,
about October? Or I don't know if anybody out there wants to share anything about the month or have a
yeah. Just
question.
anybody anybody got
Anybody?
anything?
Anybody?
Anybody at
Anybody out
all?
there?
No, but I mean, somebody might be typing. See, I hate that when people are asking questions on live stream and I'm typing and I'm like, I'm typing, like, leave me
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to hurry.
Right? And then they're like, okay, well, thanks, goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
dang
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 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 So Trudy wrote back. She said, "Thanks, ladies. That's bang
Oh, you're
on. I
welcome.
appreciate your help." Oh, you're welcome, Trudy. You're
Yes, good,
welcome.
good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and just with the wild horse and the energy of the chariot too, it makes me think of a way that you will find a way to channel your strength. You'll get your strength, your willpower, your focus, your clarity, you're focused now on your muscle movements, you know, mind, body,
Yeah.
and spirit, and you're honing in on that third eye. You know, the unicorn is also a horse, right?
Hmm.
With the third eye, seeing at all times, you know, and
Yeah.
connected. So
Yeah.
trust your intuition above all else. It will not fail you, especially in October with the veil so thin.
Right, right. Yeah. And then I guess too, I should share, like, with the horses as being the spirit animal for the collective this month. Take the time, go and Google the spiritual meaning of the horse and read up on it. And there's like lots of sites to choose from.
Oh yeah.
And you'll see a common thread. And it's like, work with those energies, like invite those
Yeah.
energies, right? And the
Right.
other good thing I want to tell people, if there's anything I want them to remember about this month, it's like, whatever takes place and you're not liking it or it's not agreeing with you, this is there's that energy of where that can change so easily,
Yes.
whether it's
Right.
by your own doing
Yeah.
or where the universe tries to help you out with that.
That's
So if
right.
you're feeling dismayed or discouraged or defeated, like, this isn't
Yeah.
well, or I'm not liking this in my life, like, we're entering an energy where things are going to change for
Yeah.
us. So,
And you know, Esther Hicks Abraham talks about, you know, the reaching for that next higher vibrational thought too. When you're stuck
mm,
in this, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, nobody likes me. You know, what's just the very next higher thought of that? You know, well, I like my dogs. You know, and focus on your
mm,
dogs a minute, or you know, there's a change in vibration that's happening too with the world as well as individually. So you're elevating, and you're elevating through these lessons, and you're elevating through the earth's lessons, and these huge vibrational changes that everyone can feel. Go easy on yourself, because it's exhausting too. I was telling Tina I had to literally go comatose all weekend from the week I had last week, you know.
right, right.
And I just pushed and pushed and pushed. I was like the freaking horse. I was dealing with Mercury retrograde, and nothing was working, and denials, and you know, just stop in your tracks, you know, after all, hours of hard work, you know, things like that.
Hmm.
So this week I feel that shifting a little bit, and now I know that, okay, I can really focus on this. I couldn't get this done last week because that universe stopped me on that, so I'm going to focus on this, and that makes me feel a little bit better, like I have a little bit more control, because you feel so out of control.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if that's a concept that's hard for you to understand or to incorporate, that's where I get rock and roll coming in, because
Yes.
rock and roll has this attitude of like, excuse my
Yes.
language, fuck it all,
Yes.
fuck you, fuck the system, or fuck you, right?
Yeah. It does. It does.
And it's like,
Rebellion.
because
Yeah.
they fight back, right? So it's like, no, this is what I want, or no, it doesn't have to be this way, right?
That's
So,
right. Oh yeah.
so that's where you can work with the energy of rock and roll, like,
Oh,
to,
absolutely.
yeah,
Release it
to
out.
bring you,
Release it out. Yeah.
that's
You're
right. Yeah.
right.
To help you get
Be
it out of your
expressive.
system. Yeah. Or
Yeah.
to like give you that confidence or that boost, like, no, this is what I want, or this is where I
Yeah.
want to go. Right. Yeah.
And not be ashamed of it. There's so much
Hmm.
shaming going on everywhere too. I think that's why people are being quiet with their stories, because they don't want to be
Hmm.
judged. Who wants that? You know?
Right. Right.
But who
Because
cares? Let them
like,
judge.
because that's what we're coming out of, the energy of
Yeah.
where the 2020, okay, again, the number, so it's a number 4, and it's like everything fits in a box. Everything's just
Right.
so, we follow the rules, we go along. So it's
Right.
like you don't ruffle any feathers,
No.
the 4 energy. And
We hated conflict. Yes.
this 5 energy is like, that's where I get like the shaking and rock and roll. It's like, no, this is,
Right.
all of
In your
that's out.
face.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's why, I get like, fuck you or fuck the system. I was going to give the
Oh yeah.
finger, like, so do that. Like, we've done that, right? We've talked about that where we've
Oh
been
yeah.
really frustrated and we're like, up in the air, like whatever, like,
Right.
yeah.
Remember
So do
last night,
that.
I think it was, I was like, fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
You get
So
that way.
yeah,
You do. You do. And it's so
yeah,
needed. Express yourself. It's hard to express yourself when you're feeling that way. So it's great to just express yourself, and who cares how it sounds, you
that's
know?
right. Yeah. Cause
Right.
it's, like release it, like rock it out. And, so
Yes.
I'm going to go back to Trudy. Like if she's like feeling like, I'm tired of, second guessing, or if I'm,
Yes.
making a
Yeah.
change with my job. She can just go like,
Yeah.
fuck you for making me feel bad about working from home. Like, that might
Exactly.
all
I'm
it take
tired
to
of
get it out
doubting
of your
myself.
system. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So that's it.
That's
That's
right.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Throw up that white flag and surrender to it, because that's the only way through it, is to just say, okay, it is what it is. I'm tired of this. I'm not taking this anymore. And change yourself, change your
Right.
reaction to things. That's all you can change. You can't change anyone's actions or what they believe or what they think,
No.
but you
No.
can absolutely change your reaction to others. And that's the
Yeah.
only thing you can change. So just focus on
Exactly.
you. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. 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 So, well, there we go. I keep forgetting
I
that I
see it.
can do two things
Oh,
at
yeah.
once on the screen.
That's my daily life. I can't multitask
I've
anymore.
got to change that thinking. Talk about
That's
change.
right. I've learned this lesson. That's
Okay.
right.
So I guess, should we
Yes.
wrap it
Should we
up?
sign off? I think so. I think we did good. I don't even
Yeah.
know how long it's been. An hour, I think.
Yeah, just over 55 minutes. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. I
It's
hope
so funny.
everyone
I have
got
all these
something out
ideas
of
of what
this.
I'm going to talk about. I do. I prepare. I think,
Yeah.
okay, I want to talk about this. I write things down, and then not one of those things ever comes out of my mouth. Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. So you said you write notes? Do you have them
I
in front
do.
of you?
I have them right in front of me. And then you distract me because you're saying such interesting things. So then I'm off on what you're talking about, and nothing ever
Oh,
gets.
okay. Well,
I love it.
we're gonna have to change that. How's that? We're gonna have to
No. I
change
love
that.
it. No.
Because
No. I'm
because
going
this
with the
is what
flow.
I did too. Like I've got
Oh,
my
I see.
board and it's like in front of me because
That's
it's like
me.
I know
Yeah. You've got them,
I'm gonna
right?
be all dopey. I'm not gonna be able to remember
Right.
what's what. Yeah, yeah,
Right? Me too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
Okay.
did
Well,
good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I
We
hope
did it.
everyone enjoyed what we shared,
Yes.
and
Thank you so much.
thanks for listening and watching, and whether that was live or later on the recording, the replay. If you want to get in touch with us, I'll put up our email. So Julie, here we go. It's scrolling at the bottom, and there's her
Yes.
email. And um, there's my email. If you want to get in touch with us, arrange a personal reading.
Ask a question, anything. I'm
Yeah.
open.
And
Yes.
if you're not able to get our information, you can there follow, like, and subscribe to the page, like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channel. And we have all our information on there as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. All
Most of
right.
all, enjoy your week. Go with the flow. Go with the changes. I know you feel probably a little defensive about how you feel, so it's okay to just be quiet for a little while too, and formulate your own ideas and thoughts without sharing, because it's very judgmental out there right now. It really is. So I don't
Yeah.
blame people for not wanting to put questions up on boards and stuff too. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So write to me if you have a question. And yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. And think about, the story. What
Yes.
story
What
you
is your
want to.
story?
What is your
Yeah.
story, and what stories? It doesn't have to be just one, but what stories you would like to create in
Yes.
your
Where you
life,
feel yourself there. Yeah.
Yeah, like for the year that's coming. And yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Yeah. And listen to rock and roll if you're in a funk.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks,
Okay. Well,
Tina.
thanks, Julie. And we'll see everyone again soon. Take care,
Thanks.
everyone. Bye-bye.